Ever get that feeling? You know, you're putting in all the work, the hours, the effort, but something still feels
Yeah.
just a bit off.
Yeah, like you're running hard, but maybe not quite in the right direction. Or
What's
something's missing.
exactly, like there should be more. Even when things seem okay on the surface,
Nah,
that feeling.
that sense of something missing, even with hard work, it's actually really common.
Hmm.
And it often points to a mindset that's maybe too focused on just getting without really cultivating that inner feeling of already having enough.
Okay, right. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're not just talking about like financial wealth, but truly feeling abundant, like
Yeah.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that feeling, being able to share generously with others, with the world.
And for this deep dive, we're really leaning into the wisdom of
He has that background guiding salespeople, but realized this desire for abundance, it goes way deeper than just hitting sales targets, doesn't it?
absolutely. She saw it as this fundamental human longing for, well, a truly fulfilling life. And her work isn't just theory. She shares her own journey, her own deep dive into understanding what actually creates that life of abundance and, importantly, joy.
So it's practical, grounded experience.
Very much so. She weaves together these principles of the mind, especially the subconscious, with really practical steps anyone can take.
And a key point, you mentioned that this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme.
No, not at all. She's very clear. It's a journey. It's gradual. It's about mindset shifts. It's about intentional actions. It's empowering because you are doing the work.
So our mission today is to really unpack these core ideas, especially what she calls the magical mindset in Thai, that's Dihan Tanalik, and pull out the most powerful, actionable insights for you listening.
Yeah, the goal isn't just for you to understand this stuff intellectually.
Right? We want you to walk away actually feeling a sense of abundance, like right now.
A feeling that hopefully sparks some action, gets you moving towards that life where you feel you have enough and you're naturally inspired to share.
Okay, let's start there then. This beautiful core concept, kind of like which translates roughly to having enough to share. It sounds lovely, but what's the real like engine behind that idea?
Well, what's really interesting is how it flips the script. Instead of just focusing on personal gain, Abby
Yeah.
Twin suggests that the intention to share itself becomes a powerful catalyst for creating abundance in the first place.
Huh. So the desire to share actually helps create the abundance, not just waiting until you have a massive surplus.
Exactly. It broadens the focus beyond just me to we to the wider circle. It changes the energy.
That's a significant shift in perspective for a lot of people, I think.
It really is. And driving this whole journey is what those calls adjusting your thinking, that magical mindset.
Yeah, okay.
And that really involves understanding and learning to work with both your conscious mind and your subconscious mind.
Right. So we have the conscious mind, that's our everyday thinking, logic, analysis, making decisions. She compares it to a one-bat coin, small but, important.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the big one, the subconscious mind. Ba Diaphonhapon in Thai. That's where our deep beliefs live, our habits, automatic stuff like breathing, intuition, emotions.
It's vast. She uses these great analogies like a powerful genie or a deity, even Maleficent, something immensely powerful that basically responds with, you wish, it delivers.
Those are really vivid images. So the subconscious, the Sun Kankan, is this potent force shaping our reality based on these deep ingrained beliefs and patterns, often without us even realizing it.
Totally. It's running the show behind the scenes based on the programming it's received over our lifetime. Your inner beliefs are literally creating your outer reality. For good, or sometimes not so good.
Okay, but here's the big question then. If this subconscious is like a wish-granting genie, why aren't we all living perfectly blissful lives? I mean, I've definitely wished for things that haven't exactly materialized.
That's such a crucial point, and Teffa tackles it head on. She talks about how often we don't know that we don't know, meaning we're just unaware of how our own minds work or the limitations in our understanding.
So we haven't learned to use the tool effectively.
Right. We might be sending mixed signals, like consciously wanting one thing, but subconsciously holding beliefs that totally contradict it. Like wanting wealth, but deep down believing money is the root of all evil, or I'm not worthy.
So it's like trying to run software on incompatible hardware. The commands just don't compute properly.
Exactly like that. And there's another layer too. This one points out the subconscious has a very strong protective instinct. It's always trying to nudge us towards what it thinks is our best version.
Okay.
And sometimes that means sending us lessons, uncomfortable ones, challenges that force us to grow, even if we consciously don't want that experience at the time.
That really rings true. Those tough times often do lead to breakthroughs, even if they feel awful when you're in them.
Mm-hmm. The subconscious might see it as necessary for our evolution.
So how do we bridge this gap? How do we get the conscious mind and this super powerful subconscious to actually work together, to be on the same team, reading from the same playbook?
Alignment. That's the key word. No, but Mahan emphasizes it's a team effort. Your conscious mind has to genuinely believe in what it's asking for. It can't just be lip service.
Right, just repeating affirmations while consciously thinking this is nonsense probably won't cut it.
Exactly. The subconscious picks up on that lack of genuine belief. It needs authenticity. The universe, or whatever you want to call it, responds to that alignment when your desires, your beliefs, and your actions are all pointing the same way.
She tells that story, doesn't she? About this saleswoman who wanted this massive income jump, but, well, wasn't really putting in the work to match it.
Yeah, a powerful example. All the visualization didn't override the lack of aligned action. And the subconscious, in its own way, delivered a lesson. Wow! She ended up losing her job. A harsh lesson about needing alignment.
Wow. So it underscores that the subconscious responds to what's real belief, real action, and also a sense of deserving it, of self-worth.
Precisely. Which brings us back to hi tiny tiny, kind of adjusting our thoughts as the absolute foundation. Like my kata says, handa hata the
Do your duty fully, and the outcome will always be good. It sounds simple, but that think well part is key. Positive thoughts create those clear images, feelings, intentions.
Exactly. That's a language the subconscious understands and acts upon.
Okay, so it starts upstairs. And one of the first steps she mentions for adjusting thoughts is numeratithan, knowing that you don't know. How does admitting ignorance help create abundance? Seems counterintuitive.
It's about cultivating humility, really, and openness, like a child's mind, she says. Curious, receptive, without all the baggage of preconceived notions or thinking you already have all the answers.
So letting go of the need to be the expert.
Yeah, and creating space. When you admit you don't know everything, you open the door for new knowledge, new perspectives, new opportunities to actually come in. It's about being teachable.
Being a lifelong learner, basically.
Exactly. And that mindset naturally leads you to adopt the habits of people who live with it,
Yeah.
those who are abundant and generous.
What are some of those habits?
Well, things like active listening, really listening, without prejudice, not just waiting to talk, asking insightful questions. And she makes a great distinction here. Focus on solutions, not problems.
Right, like asking, how can I increase my income? Instead of just moaning, why am I always broke?
Such a powerful shift. It moves you from victim to creator. It directs your energy proactively. Another key habit is constant self-improvement, investing in yourself. Reading, listening to things like this, learning from others.
Never stop growing. And a huge part of that growth is belief, isn't it? Believing in yourself. She talks about consciously pushing back against self-criticism.
Yes, reminding yourself that beating yourself up hasn't worked. It's time to try self-appreciation. Focus on your potential for success, not just past failures.
That can feel weird at first for some people, that self-appreciation thing.
It can, because we're often conditioned otherwise. But self-criticism just digs the negative grooves deeper in the subconscious. Self-appreciation, believing in your own worthiness, that's fundamental for attracting good things.
Okay, so mindset adjustment is step one, believing in ourselves. Now, let's get into the second part of have the sharing the print. She introduces that principle. The more you give, the more you receive. How does that actually work? Giving things away makes you get more.
It sounds like a paradox, right? But think about the energy of giving. When you give truly from the heart, from a genuine desire to contribute, it creates this feeling of abundance within you.
So it changes your internal state first.
Exactly. You shift from focusing on lack, I don't have enough, to focusing on what you do have to offer. And that positive feeling, that abundant state, acts like a magnet. It attracts positive experiences, opportunities, good people back to you.
And it's not just about money, right? she's clear on that.
Oh, absolutely not. A smile, a kind word, sharing your knowledge, offering your time, your skills, resources. It's a huge spectrum of giving value.
Right.
And when you do this with pure intention, no strings attached, not expecting something specific back, you set this positive cycle in motion. It aligns with concepts like the law of attraction. You put out good energy. You tend to get good energy back, often in unexpected ways.
Like attracting supportive people or getting unexpected help just when you need it?
Precisely. And she outlines some principles of giving, like how abundant people give.
Yeah, what are those?
Things like give joyfully, really find pleasure in it. Give without expecting a return, let go of attachment to the outcome. Give from what you have now, even small things matter. And give consistently, make it a habit, not just a one-off.
That story about the businessman with debt is really powerful here. He started small, just giving little things consistently.
And his whole situation turned around unexpectedly. It shows that the scale isn't the most important thing initially, it's the consistency and the heart behind it.
It drives home that true wealth starts with a full heart, gratitude for what you have, and willingness to share from that place.
Exactly, not waiting until you feel rich enough.
Which brings us neatly to Kru Co. Mindful giving. So it's not just about emptying your pockets randomly.
No, definitely not. Giving isn't about martyrdom or giving just for show or out of guilt. It's about consciously directing positive energy with pure intention.
Like that example she used with the group funding teachers in southern Thailand instead of going themselves.
Perfect example. They thought strategically. How could they leverage their resources, maybe money, connections, for the biggest, most sustainable impact, rather than just the most visible action?
So it involves some self-reflection before giving.
Oh.
Like asking ourselves, what?
Questions like, is this coming from a genuine desire or obligation? Will this act harm me or put me in a bad spot? Crucially, is there a more impactful way I could help this cause or person?
It really boils down to the intention. If the intention is pure, a genuine desire to help and share.
That pure intention itself becomes a powerful magnet for abundance, especially for those who truly want enough to share.
This sounds like what she calls strategic giving, thinking about impact, sustainability.
Yes, maybe finding organizations that are known multipliers that can take your contribution and make it go further. It's moving beyond giving out of, say, fear of bad karma and shifting to giving because you genuinely feel abundant and believe in making things better.
And she gave that checklist, which is super practical. Give from surplus, feel joyful about it, consider the real impact, look for multipliers.
Great summary. Those are really useful guidelines.
Okay, let's really focus now on cultivating the core feeling. Icon Heist abundance itself, it's clearly more than just stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It's fundamentally an internal state. It's that deep down feeling of I have enough and I am ready to share. It's not primarily about your bank balance.
I love that Louise Hay quote she uses. Abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into.
Isn't that great? It implies it's already here, like a radio station. We just need to find the frequency and tune in.
Yeah. And that story about the student who felt she had nothing to share.
She started with just small acts of kindness, sharing what she could, maybe time, a listening ear, and it created this positive ripple effect in her own life. It wasn't about having lots of money first.
So the core of it is being open, receptive, trusting that the universe or life has an endless supply, and crucially, that we're worthy of receiving it.
Exactly, trusting the flow. But she adds that important caution. Don't give until you're empty.
Right. The full glass analogy. You give from your overflow, not by draining yourself.
Critical point. Giving from lack breeds resentment, burnout.
Well,
it's not sustainable, and it doesn't carry that truly positive, abundant energy.
So what are some simple daily things we can do to actively cultivate this feeling of abundance?
Panchabwa suggests some beautiful, simple practices. Gratitude is huge, actively noticing and appreciating everything you do have. Smiling, it literally changes your physiology and sends out positive vibes. Setting positive intentions, consciously focusing on abundance and your desire to share.
Simple, but powerful. And she keeps coming back to that idea. True wealth starts in the heart, knowing I have enough.
That's the bedrock.
Okay, but even as we're trying all this positive stuff, the little voices of doubt and fear, they can be pretty loud, can't they?
Oh yeah, the little voices in the head are a major hurdle for almost everyone. Somebody points out they're usually not the truth. They're echoes.
Echoes of what?
Past experiences, maybe critical things others said, limiting beliefs we absorbed from society. Their old tapes playing?
And that other Louise Hay quote she uses about self-criticism being totally ineffective.
Right. It never works. Berating yourself doesn't create positive change. Self-approval, self-compassion, that's what works.
So instead of fighting the voices, she suggests treating ourselves more gently, like nurturing an inner child.
Exactly. Comforting that part of ourselves that feels scared or unworthy, offering encouragement, not judgment. Kindness starts within. So how do we manage them then, practically speaking, when that voice pipes up saying, you can't do this, or you're not good enough?
First, notice it. Acknowledge it without necessarily buying into it. Ah, there's that voice again. Maybe even thank it for trying to protect you in its own weird way.
Okay.
Then consciously replace it. Use positive affirmations. Focus on your goodness, your happiness, the positive impact of sharing. She gives that great affirmation.
People happy. The abundance we share brings us more and more good things. Sharing makes us richer.
It's about affirming the positive reality you want to create.
I also loved her contrast between their sufficiency and the abundance. The Titanic survivor alone on a raft versus having a boat to rescue others.
Isn't that powerful? It reframes seeking abundance. It's not selfish. It's about increasing your capacity to help, to make a bigger positive difference.
So the goal isn't just enough for me, it's enough to share.
Precisely. And building resilience against those inner voices and external doubters is key. They can totally derail the subconscious if you let them. Self-belief and worthiness are your shields.
Okay, another piece she highlights is fella, mudno high, loving your work. Why is that so important for abundance?
Well, think about it. Your work takes up a huge chunk of your life. If you genuinely love it, it brings daily happiness, fulfillment. Even time off feels like a bonus then, not just an escape.
And that positive energy.
Exactly. It radiates. People are drawn to happy, passionate individuals. Abundance flows more easily toward the positive energy. She uses that simple analogy. Who would you rather approach, someone happy or someone miserable?
Point taken. She also challenges negative work narratives like feeling unappreciated or thinking only the boss wins.
Yeah, she reframes work as this amazing opportunity. Develop skills, build networks, gain experience, contribute value. It's a training ground for growth.
Even that tricky question about working extra sometimes without extra pay.
She suggests seeing it as an investment in yourself. Building skills, showing initiative, preparing yourself to share knowledge later, it builds your value and reputation.
But she does add that warning about resentment, right?
Yeah.
You feel forced into it just to help others without personal fulfillment.
That's crucial. If it breeds resentment, that negative energy pushes abundance away. The ideal is finding work you love, and that allows you to contribute positively. That's the sweet spot.
Makes sense. Okay, we're feeling good, loving our work, but then there's actually doing things. She talks about procrastination, the later habit.
Yes, the dreaded procrastination. Well, and kind of, she calls it a major obstacle. It signals to the subconscious a lack of clarity, maybe even fear of success or change. So the subconscious kind of pulls back, doesn't bring the opportunities.
She asks that provocative question. What if everyone did everything?
Godel said right now. Imagine the progress.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Stepping up into abundance, into having enough to share, often requires more effort, more discipline than just staying comfortable. It means pushing through that inertia, especially when things get tough.
So what are her tips for breaking that procrastination habit?
Some really practical ones. First, recognize that someday now usually means where kantu later, which often means where kanite never.
Ouch. Truth bomb.
Right. So if you can't do it now, set a specific realistic deadline. Commit to it. Then consciously practice changing. Just start. Do it until it's done.
No stopping halfway.
Exactly. And celebrate the wins, even small completions. Build that momentum. Aim for consistency, like that 21-day habit formation idea.
Really actionable stuff. Okay, another huge one. Self-love. Gonengaha. Truly liking yourself. How does that fit in? It's foundational. Self-love, liking yourself, accepting compliments easily, smiling genuinely, appreciating all of you, good days, bad days, flaws and all. It's the bedrock for everything else.
Starting the day with affirmations like, I like myself, I love my work, I can do it.
Yes, setting that positive tone. And a crucial reminder for high achievers, for those wanting to help others, don't neglect self-care. Your health, rest, fun, nurturing that inner child. You need joy too.
Because a joyful giver is much more effective and, frankly, more pleasant to receive help from.
Absolutely. You can't pour from an empty, miserable cup. Radiating happiness while sharing is inspiring.
And finally, the capstone. Gratitude could more starts like thankfulness so incredibly vital.
Gratitude is like a supercharger for inner contentment. When you genuinely appreciate what you have, it just naturally attracts more good things. It raises your vibration, your energy.
Like her analogy of giving a gift to someone truly grateful.
It just makes you want to give them more. The universe kind of works like that too. Gratitude signals, yes, please, more of this.
And she says, be grateful for everything, big, small.
Everything. Waking up, the air you breathe, AC, opportunities, knowledge, teachers, your job, friends, family. She even thanks you, the listener, for being here. It's about cultivating a perspective of appreciation for the abundance already present.
It's a fundamental shift, isn't it? From looking at what's missing to seeing what's here.
Exactly. A grateful heart is a magnet for more blessings. It creates that beautiful upward spiral.
Wow. Okay, so bring this all together. This deep dive into Kanna's wisdom really shows that feeling good, feeling abundant, isn't some far-off destination. It's something we can start cultivating, like right now.
Right now, exactly. It's about the mindset shift, embracing, giving, being mindful, feeling enough inside, managing that inner critic, loving your work, taking action, loving yourself, and just being deeply grateful.
It's this whole interconnected system, really.
It is, where your inner state becomes the driving force for your outer reality. That feeling of abundance isn't the prize at the end. It's the fuel for the journey. It's the starting point.
And the amazing thing is, you can choose to start feeling that now.
You absolutely can.
So as you're listening, maybe just take a moment. What's one small thing, one tiny step you could take today, maybe even right after this, to cultivate that feeling of abundance, that generous mindset?
Yeah, maybe it's just pausing to feel grateful for your coffee, or sending a quick, kind text, or tackling one small thing you've been putting off.
It's one small thing.
And here's a final thought to maybe sit with. How could truly embracing a feeling of abundance right here and now transform not just your life, but also your power to positively affect others?
Because that feeling itself, that's the first most powerful step towards creating a reality where you truly do have enough to share.